This is going to be the 3-year bone ascension plan. Alright, we're ascending from Twink, Sub 5 to Chad. Alright, so I'm basically gonna give you guys the blueprint on what to do, and we're all gonna, ascend. Let's get straight to it. So, what this plan will focus on. Alright, so after 3 years, you should be inches taller, right? So you should be going from this to this. You should have a better bone structure. You're gonna go from having this little skull to this wide, masculine skull. You're gonna get a wider frame. You're gonna go from this narrow framelit to this wide frame guy. Alright? We're ascending everywhere. We're not just focusing on growing taller. We're not just focusing on, building the face. We're not just focusing on building the frame. We're doing all three at once. And yeah. So what we're gonna be focusing on is gonna be facial remodeling, frame widening, and height gain. This is how you're gonna do it. So for facial remodeling, you're gonna be doing thumb pulling. All right, so you're gonna be doing thumb pulling to expand your palate, and you're gonna be getting forward growth, and you're gonna get more compact mid face by doing this. If you want to learn how to properly do this, I'll talk about that later. But you want to fix your posture so you would have perfect tongue posture, you would have perfect swallowing posture, all that. BS, so bone, bone, and then yeah, and then increasing testosterone. All right, and what do increasing testosterone is gonna do for your face is it's gonna make it more masculine, and it's gonna help you develop a lot better. And by the way, this second word right here is smashing. I just had to, say that. For widening your frame, the goal is going to be stimulating IGF-1 inside the clavicles, and you can do this by doing shoulder barges. Alright, this targets the clavicles directly. LMFHV, this also stimulates a lot of osteoblasts inside the clavicles, and lateral raises. This will help widen your frame with muscles, and also it's going to stimulate a little bit of IGF-1 in the clavicles too. For growing taller, you're going to be doing microfractures, banded sleeping, LSJL, race cycling, LMFHV again, except you just do it on the lower back and legs, and increasing IGF-1 and HGH. Alright, if you do all these, you can grow taller at any age. So, of course, if you're in puberty, just focus on this last one right here, and maybe the first one. But if you're outside of puberty, do all these methods right here. And this is how you're gonna grow taller post puberty. All right. And basically, this is gonna have a similar effect to the limb lengthening surgery out there, except this is a natural way to do it. Now, we're gonna have a little timeline here. So year one, you're gonna be focusing on just setting up the systems, right? You're gonna be focusing on what works, what methods work. You're gonna get your routines dialed in, all that, right? That's what you're gonna focus on in year one. You're basically gonna be building the foundation. So these are gonna be kind of the timeline where when you see results. So months 1 to 3, this is gonna be the hardest period. So the first 3 months is just gonna be. This is where most people quit. Like I guarantee, like 98% of people who do this quit months 1 to 3. You're not gonna really see too much results in the first 3 months, but if you stay consistent, you do all the routines, habits, and all that, it'll pay off in the long run. Months 4 to 6, you're gonna start seeing, slow newbie gains, right? You're gonna start seeing a little bit of progress, and instead of seeing the progress and being like, okay, we're good now, you want to use that as motivation to stay consistent to everything else. Month 7 to 12, you're gonna see a huge improvement from the start. So basically, by the end of year one, you're gonna see a huge improvement from your starting point. You're gonna look completely different. You're gonna probably be a little bit taller, you're gonna have a wider frame, all that, right? You're gonna see visible gains if you take progress photos. And by the way, if you want to have, the right system for you, you don't want to waste all the time that I did spending a lot of research and effort into figuring out what works and what doesn't work. I have the Slenderman method right here, which you can buy right now, top link in the description. And this will have 12, I think it's 12 courses inside of here now. So, I just released a lot of new courses yesterday, so there's 12 courses, detailed courses on everything you can do to, maximize your height potential, your facial potential, and widening your frame. All right, and also I have a free community if you want to start here too. So I have a free community and I have a few free courses in there to start off with too. Alright, including the Ascension plan. So if you like this video concept, I'm gonna dive a little bit more deeper inside the Ascension plan course that's in the free community, and it's also in here too. And also, this is my transformation, so I went from 5'8" at 17 to 6'2" at 19. And these are just a few of the people I've helped, right, on, growing taller. Now, year 2, this is when everything starts to compound, okay? So the habits should feel pretty easy. You're basically doing them. It's like going to the gym, you just do it like it's just normal, right? You've been doing this so consistently in year 1. This is so easy to do in year 2, right? And this is whenever, the results start to compound. You start to see exponential growth. And this is where you're going to see most of your results. It's going to be in year 2, okay? So from the end of year 2, from your starting point, you're going to be like a whole different person already. So technically, if you really wanted to, you can quit at year 2. But if you go to year 3, it's going to be even better. So every habit you do is going to feel like brushing your teeth at this point. So it's going to feel so easy, so there's no point in quitting, and you can still get a lot of results. You're going to get slower progress in year 3 than you did in year 2, but it's still going to be some meaningful stuff compared to, your end of year 2 versus the end of year 3, right? It's still, that's the difference between Chad Light and, Chad, right? The year 2 to year 3. So if you can, finish out year 3, year 1, year 2, year 3, you're going to be at a good spot. In year 4, I mean, year 4, this is whatever you ascend and forget, right? You forget that you did all this, and you start using the habits, you start using the skills you did to do this. All the discipline, all the routines you did, you start using those habits, and you start, working on something else so you can work on your, getting your income up, you can work on, your social skills, you can work on everything else, right? Because life is all about upgrading your life, you know what I mean? So you can start upgrading in other areas. And that's what you want to do basically by the end of this. But yeah, basically, for example, we're just going to throw an example out there. You're going to go from year 1, you're going to start off, you're going to basically be, like let's say like a 5'7", below average bone structure, and small frame to 6 foot, let's just say 6 foot, 2 wide frame, Chad bone structure, right? That's basically what we're going for here. We're going from twink to Chad, alright? So it's a pretty, interesting topic. There's no type of videos on this on the internet, so if you want to learn everything I did, do my transformation, and, learn more about how you can probably do this, I'll have my course right here and my community here. So I'll see y'all inside, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. All right.